how's it going everybody? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another mod spotlight video, and this is a mod that you can play right now. I know people complain that I only do videos on mods that are never going to come out in 100 years time, etc. Well, Realms Forgotten has just had its biggest update yet, including a brand new map. The dwarves have been implemented in, tons of new armors and weapons, improvements to the CJI, which will go ahead and just enhance itself on the actual campaign map, and plenty more. And I will of course leave a link to the mod down below in the description so you guys can check it out and start your very next Bannerlord campaign over the holidays. I will also mention before we do dive in that this is one of the most underrated mods out there for Bannerlord. If you're looking for a fresh take on Bannerlord, you're looking for a ton of new content, this is definitely the mod to check out. So let's just jump in, take a look at the new race, the brand new map that is 4 times larger than Calradia, and everything else that this update has to offer. So here we are on the Dwarven lands on the brand new map, and I really love how the dwarves are set up on the campaign map. They have a really interesting position ready to take on the rest of the world. So if we put the map the right way up, this is going to be the new A Earth, and as you guys can see, it is much larger than the previous one. The dwarves are situated up here on the right hand side. You then have the nomadic tribes in the center. Then as you get further and further over, you have all the empire factions right here who have split into multiple warring tribes. We also then have the first tree and the elves, which is situated in the center, and again the new map looks absolutely gorgeous. Then as we make our way more off into the west, we have the amazing Aztec factions with their giants, and I mean, again, just take a look at it. I think the modder has done a great job improving the campaign map, adding the scale, and he did mention in his update video that this is very much a work in progress map. This is kind of the beginning of the new map. Plenty of new details and other lovely stuff will be added to bring the map alive. But yeah, the sheer scale is awesome, and I'm really impressed with the extra detail that is being implemented into this update. Then finally, as we make our way down into the south, you have the Free Cities down here, one of my favorite factions. These are basically like a slaving race that has risen up against their oppressors and have taken over control of the deserts. And again, there's a lot of beautiful details sprinkled into the desert, sorry, that I think looks really good. And then finally, we also have the like undead faction off here into the east, which again will add for a interesting new update, because obviously you have the dwarfs here, you have the nomadic faction, and then you also have kind of like a medieval Middle Eastern faction as well. So again, there's a lot more, I guess, appropriate borders for the lore of this mod. Also really quickly as well, some of the basically all of the dwarven settlements are like built into the mountain, and I'm a big fan of like how they are set up like this, because like look how awesome that is. Like to get to this settlement, if you're planning to siege it or something, you have to go across this bridge, and I really hope the modder continues to add in more details like this. I'm a real big fan of like these little statues and stuff, so yeah, more stuff like this I think would be really cool. So the dwarves are a interesting new race as well. They have plenty of very cool focuses set in on them, especially around their armor. So they have an entire new custom, obviously, unit tree, etc., and their units do get up to being some pretty insane heavy infantry. Their biggest focus is going to be on their armor. That's going to be their main strength in their units. Their armor is going to be better than everybody else, and it can also be enhanced with a special resource you can only get from the Dwarven lands. But just taking a look at the Dwarven unit roster, of course you have kind of your sturdy two-handed heavy infantry line. You have a bit more of a lighter, but kind of these guys have throwing axes and they're a bit faster, can kind of get around the battlefield if you want to use them to flank. And you also have a heavier spearman line. Again, these guys are going to be here just to basically hold the line for as long as possible, kind of shore up your defenses and deal with a lot of anti-cavalry. You then have your Dwarven crossbows who upgrade into boar riders. So one thing I think is always really interesting with this mod is you can upgrade units, but they necessarily aren't like going to be a better upgrade. Obviously, normally in most mods you just upgrade to the highest tier, but you kind of have a decision to make. Do you want more like foot crossbows and you kind of just hold them off at the tier 4 if you want to, or you can upgrade them to the sharpshooters, and then these guys are going to be on boars and they're going to be moving around. So you kind of have that decision to make with this unit roster, and it's the same with the Aztec faction as well, if I quickly show you. And the giants, like the giants, again, you can't really see their preview because they're so big, but they're giant warriors. They have these guys right here, the giant fighters. You can kind of see it in their picture. They basically have gates. Like when I say gates, I mean like a proper castle gate as a shield. Then when you upgrade them, they can go into these big two-handed guys or into the archers. And a lot of the time I was finding myself that I kind of just want to leave them at this tier, and yeah, they have worse stats, but they have this huge massive shield to protect my warriors, and I kind of really like it that I'm not just like upgrading everybody to a max. I'm keeping some of these units as a lower tier, but they serve a different role in my army, and that's going to be, I think, something you're going to be doing with the Dwarven roster. Back to it though, you of course also now have the crossbows, but then you also have your boar riders. These guys are going to be menaces on the battlefield, extremely heavily armored, 200 one-handed skills, so if they ever pull out that sword, it's going to be deadly. They also have the lance as well. I think one thing that would be quite interesting to do with these Dwarven warriors and their weapons, because they do have a lot of custom weapons, but still, like stuff with these boar riders, it'd be interesting to see like an idea of like how the dwarves adapt. They don't really have the longest range, right? So how do the Dwarven like cavalry challenge a different cavalry with a much longer spear? Like how does that go? I don't know how you do it, but I think it'd be kind of interesting. But yeah, again, they have some really nice armor, the noble armor, only 50 body armor. I feel like the dwarves should have maybe a little bit more than that. They look really good, and again, you can see the other tiers as we go further down and back in. Again, custom hammers there, all custom shields as well, which I always love to see. We also have one of the first cool custom scenes actually arriving in the mod. So if we go and drop a save, and then we'll visit the temple itself, so we'll take a walk around the city, and you guys can see one of the first cool custom scenes. The elder tree right here is basically the creation of the world, so it's really cool that it's got its own custom scene. And as we make our way in, you guys can obviously look at it in all its glory. I believe this is siegeable as well. I'm actually not 100% sure on that, but yeah, you guys can see it, and I think it looks amazing. This mod is also really big on like custom quests and stuff, so again, I'm hoping there's going to be reasons to come to here. I hope there's going to be like scenes and battles like in the middle of this scene, because it does look so amazing. And if we go to photo mode really quickly and take a look at things, again, you guys can have a look for yourselves. All the houses are up in the trees, and there's paths up. They've done a great job with it, and I think it looks amazing. And yeah, as I mentioned, I think this is a custom castle as well that you can actually siege, which I think would be really cool. And even the final keep back here is actually implemented into the actual mother tree herself right there, which I think looks amazing. So as I mentioned, yeah, I'd love for the modders to really focus in on when they get these scenes in. It'd be yeah, amazing to have all the different quests and having like events that happen in the scenes and stuff. It's a shame. It would be such a shame not to utilize them to their max. But I believe that these mods will, because again, they're really heavily focused in on the storyline. There's an entire custom quest line that you follow that has actually been really developed and takes you to dungeons and all these awesome custom scenarios and scenes that are just awesome and really cool to see. Another new thing that has been implemented in this update is going to be the hunting grounds right here. So this is going to basically task you with exploring the king's lands and hunting beasts, and there's a whole manner of different beasts. So these are just cool custom scenes. You're going to be moving around and trying to find down and hunt whatever you come across. Obviously right now we have some boars over there, but there's also a lot of mythical creatures as well that you can hunt down and go on quests. And again, I think it'd be really cool if they could make it so that like you're actually just like straight up they fight me as well. It's cool. Yeah, it's like if you like have to hunt these creatures down to craft the best weapons and armors in the game. I think that's a really cool system, and I'm sure it's something they all will implement. Like you get the best resources to then craft cool custom armors and weapons that can only be crafted that way. It again just adds loads more depth to this game, which again, Bannerlord's not known for its depth. As I mentioned as well, that you can actually craft different armors and weapons, etc. But not only that, yeah, as I said, they have armor crafting in the mod as well, especially with the new dwarfs. That's going to be the main focus. If you are a dwarf, you are going to be focusing in on trying to level up your smithy, or you at least get bonuses to do that. So you'll be able to smelt that, and of course, you'll be able to also forge different types of weapons. There are plenty in here, some of the cool custom ones as well, if you want to really mess around with it. Yeah, I mean, take a look at this. Some of the awesome looking axes and hammers and stuff. Yeah, it looks awesome. You can really craft some very cool weapons, and there's different pommels and other beautiful things to make a badass weapon. And yeah, as I mentioned, there is a resource in the game that you can only be acquired by being with the dwarfs and being friendly with them, is this Caradafarium. I don't know, probably butchered that pronunciation, but you need this, and you can utilize that to actually enhance by pressing this button right here. If you have it, you can see it makes it so much lighter, and the damage goes through the roof. This resource will be very expensive, and again, I think it'd be really cool if they could tie this to like a scene in the mines, because they do actually have a cool custom mine scene in this, and like you have to go and fulfill this quest of an enhanced weapon. Yeah, there's just so much they can do with all these new awesome mechanics they've added in, which makes me so excited to see the future of this mod. And again, you can already start to see some of the crazy custom weapons and heads and stuff that they have. And they've look at that. Obviously, you'd have to change up the stump for it and stuff like that. But yeah, there's like so many amazing combinations. They've really done a very interesting thing when it does come to the weapons and the armors with all the custom bits and stuff. Like, they've done a great job of like making this all modular, and like, look at this weapon that I could just create. Yeah, definitely some cool stuff to mess around with and equip your companions with. They've added in, which makes me so excited to see the future of this mod. And again, you can already start to see some of the crazy custom weapons and heads and stuff that they have. And they've look at that. Obviously, you'd have to change up the stump for it and stuff like that. But yeah, there's like so many amazing combinations. They've really done a very interesting thing when it does come to the weapons and the armors with all the custom bits and stuff. Like, they've done a great job of like making this all modular, and like, look at this weapon that I could just create. Yeah, definitely some cool stuff to mess around with and equip your companions with. They've also updated through their Patreon. Again, a Patreon is a huge part of this mod. Everyone supporting this mod team allows them to basically go and commission new armors, weapons, coders, sceners, etc. So again, I'll leave a link to their Patreon down below in the description if you guys want to check them out and support them, of course, as well as their Discord and the mod link itself. But through the Patreon, they decided they wanted a custom quest line to basically go and allow you to join one of the kingdoms as a specific knight. So that's going to be a cool new custom quest in the mod. Definitely worth checking out and taking a look at. I wanted to get into a quick battle as well so you could see the Dwarven units up close and personal. I've just got like a nice little mix of them. So yeah, again, that's one of the cool things that I was mentioning, like with them having a lower reach. Like, these spearmen do have longer pikes to go and deal with that and try and counter that. So if we take a look at some of the units in all of their glory, these are going to be our Dwarven, like, main shielded line. They have their axes, so even though they are spearmen, they're still equipped pretty nicely. Then we obviously just have our normal Dwarven peasants. Back here, we have our elite Dwarven heavy warriors. It would be cool if they had different weapons. I think them axes are a little bit not as glorious, but maybe that's just because they're throwing weapons and then they'll pull out their big two-handers. I think that's the case. Don't know. Yeah, then we have the shield as well, so these are going to be our normal infantry troops, and then also over there. Also, look at the size difference as well. So our dwarfs do feel like dwarfs for sure, and then of course we also have our boar riders. This mod has a whole wealth of cool custom cavalry in the mod. I think the boar riders look great. And yeah, I can't wait to lead a host of enemies charging at the enemy. That's going to be cool as hell. As I mentioned as well, the main quest line will also take you to a whole wealth of different locations. There is also now a derelict Dwarven mine that you can visit and explore and delve into. I don't know what lays in the depths of that mine, but it's still very cool. They have this cool custom scene, definitely worth exploring. And that is just simply the tip of the iceberg with this mod. Definitely one worth checking out. As I said, I'll leave a link to their Discord, their Patreon, as well as the new mod update over on Nexus Mods down below in the description. This modder has also been a massive help working on the new Lord of the Rings mod as well, so definitely go show him some love. If you guys haven't already, make sure to go drop a like and a comment down below. I'd really appreciate it. It massively helps support the channel, and maybe if you want to see a little let's play on this mod, let me know in the comments down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one.